everyone, first of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. Let's introduce ourselves.
I am Pen Pasili and I am from the Faculty of Economics.
I am Pachanami Puttong and I am from the Faculty of Economics.
I'm Papachya Tangsiri Chushui. I'm from the Faculty of Humanities.
I'm Ratima Chulamnoi and I'm from the Faculty of Science.
I'm Anathima Kanjarasombat and I'm from the Faculty of Science.
I am Vipada Okshim and am from the Faculty of Science.
We're here today to present one problem at Kasetsart University about the KU bus. And we hope this presentation can develop the KU bus to be better. So we will be addressing 4 main points. The first point will be the background of our study and how we collected the data about using the KU bus. The second point is describing the data from the result of our survey, which consists of the graph of problems encouraged from using the KU bus, the graph of the average waiting time for a KU bus, the graph of the frequency used for the KU bus line, and the graph of the impact of the problem with the used KU buses. Then we will move to the third point, that is the analysis of data. Finally, I will give the conclusions and recommendations. The presentation should last about 15 minutes. If you have any questions, there will be questions after finishing the presentation. Let's now move on to the first point. In this part of the presentation, we will talk about the background of our study and how we collected the data about using the KU bus. So, as you can see in this pie graph, 92% of survey respondents used the KU bus and encountered problems from using it. We found one of the reasons that contribute to the problem is the university doesn't have enough KU bus for the user. As a result, many people have to wait for the KU bus for a long time. Time for travel being in error and can't use the KU bus service that is full. So, this is fault to the crossmore and cause air pollution from using other public service, such as motorcycle or taxi instead of using the KU bus.
So, as we mentioned it earlier, that is the reason why we want to study this problem, and we hope our study can help find out how to solve and develop the KU bus. Concerning data collection, we surveyed people using the KU bus by using an online questionnaire. In other words, it's Google Form for a survey with the most students to obtain complete and accurate information. So we have covered everything we wanted to say about this part.
Let's now take a look at the result of our survey. I would like to draw your attention to the flow chart that shows the problem from using the KU bus and the impact of these problems. Let's look more closely at this bar chart, which presents the problems encountered from using the KU bus. You can see that the most common problem is the KU bus arrive at the KU bus stop late, while the less common problem is the KU bus stop area has an unsightly view. More than 4/5 of the problems were the KU buses are insufficient to meet the needs of users, and 4/5 of the problems were the KU buses have an unstable schedule. Several KU buses arrive at the KU bus stop at the same time, 49% of the common problems. Next, let's look more closely at this pie chart, which displays the average waiting time for a KU bus. Most of survey respondents had a 15 to 30 minutes wait for the KU bus at 60%. Nearly a quarter of survey respondents waited about 30 to 45 minutes. The percentage of survey respondents who waited for the KU bus about 45 minutes to 1 hour was slightly higher than that of survey respondents who waited for the KU bus less than 15 minutes at 8% and 6% respectively. There are only a small number of survey respondents who waited about 1 to 2 hours.
Now I'd like you to take a look at the next chart. This chart shows KU bus lines are used frequently. You can see that the KU bus on line 1 were used the most at 91% of all survey respondents. Roughly 2/3 of survey respondents used the KU bus on line 3. Only a small number of survey respondents use the KU bus on line 5. Next, we'd like you to take a look at this bar chart, which shows the impact of problem with the use of KU bus. The most common impact was that KU bus can't be used because the bus is full, and it has a percentage that was slightly higher than that arrived at the appointment later that scheduled at 89% and 86% respectively. The percentage of the impact that include additional costs from using other public service such as motorcycle or taxi was slightly higher than that of the impact that unable to manage the time to wait for the KU bus because it had an unstable schedule at 77% and 74% respectively. Waiting time doing other things from waiting for the KU bus for a long time account for 63% of the impacts. Losing mental health from waiting for the KU bus for a long time account for the 3/5 of the impact. Just under half of the impact that's rate for cars. The least impact that survey respondent encountered was late for the exam. Hey, we think that's all we want to say about the result.
Let's now move on to the next part, which is data analysis. Based on the result, it can be clearly seen that KU students always use KU bus, which have three main problems. First, the KU bus arrive off the KU bus stop. That is the most common problem, and the average waiting time for a KU bus is mostly about 15 to 30 minutes. I would like to elaborate on this aspect a little due to the small number of KU bus drivers, and some KU bus are not available. The KU bus are not enough. As a result, some passengers have to wait for the next bus or the next route, which the KU bus take a long time for each route, about 30 to 45 minutes. Therefore, the waiting time for the KU bus is about 15 to 30 minutes, which makes many people feel that the KU bus is late. Next, the KU bus are insufficient to meet the needs of users because there are only a few buses. Lastly, the KU bus have an unstable schedule. Moreover, the results show that the KU bus on line 1 are the most frequently used. Let me use these pictures to explain this point. These are pictures of the route map on each line. Based on the pictures, it can be clearly seen that the KU bus on line 1 pass many faculty and many places, such as every lecture hall, library, gym, canteen 1, post office, and etc. In addition, they pass the KU bus stop at the BTS station, which many people have to travel by BTS, so they tend to take the KU bus on line 1.
In addition to this, the results show that KU buses can be used because the bus is full is the most impact of problem with the use of KU buses because the time when KU bus is used a lot is the morning before class, lunch break and after university, with the number of people who use it will be very large. That is not related to the number of the KU bus related at the time, which is only 2 and 3 buses. As a result, the KU buses being full and unable to use them often. In addition, most people want to go to KU bus stop at a BTS station to go home in the evening. Therefore, there isn't getting off at other KU bus stop along the way. So the KU buses were full many times. The result also show that late for the exam is the least impact of problem with the use of KU buses because most students are usually scheduled to arrive at the university before the exam time. The reason for this is to alleviate concern about being late for the exam. Therefore, talking to exam late from the KU bus had very little impact. That's all for this part. Let's now move on the next point.
Before we start, let's go over the key issues again. KU students always use KU buses, which have 3 main problems. First, KU buses always arrive at KU bus stop late and not on time, so everyone who uses it has to wait so long. Next, the KU buses are insufficient to meet the needs of users because there are only a few buses. Lastly, the KU buses have an unstable schedule. KU bus in line 1 is the most KU bus lines are used frequently because it's past every LH, past many faculties, and past KU bus stop at the BTS station. The most average waiting time for a KU bus is about 15 to 30 minutes. How can we resolve the problems? We have 3 recommendations. Firstly, we would recommend increasing and decreasing the distance that must be matched with time for it to be more comfortable and faster. For example, adding KU buses on lines 1 and 3 in the morning, noon, and evening to allow only use during rush hours. Secondly, accepting more drivers for every bus because a lot of buses don't have a drivers, so it isn't worth it if we have a bus but we don't use it. In addition, the welfare of drivers must be improved. That will make more drivers applying for a job and they will be happier with their duties. Finally, changing time to start a trip that should start one by one every 10 to 15 minutes. That will allow passengers to know the exact bus schedule and don't wait for each KU bus for a long time. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, we would be happy to answer them.